Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're an engineering student and you're about to graduate, you're looking for a job, or if you've already graduated and you're still looking for a job, you've definitely clicked on the right video. I'm going to give you my 7 tips on how to ace that interview and snag that job. Stick around. Just to give you a brief introduction of who I am, my name is Blake Lewis. I just recently graduated with my master's in mechanical engineering, and I am a mechanical engineer, more specifically a structural dynamics engineer. And to top it all off, I do have a lot of experience interviewing for jobs. So I feel like I am definitely qualified to give you advice on how to get these jobs. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, make sure you know what job you're applying for. So this doesn't go with the actual interview process as a whole. However, it is the beginning or the precursor to actually getting the interview. If you're unsure about the job that you're applying for, then you will quickly get exposed if you get an interview or get the job in general, because people are going to find out that you weren't actually aware of the job. So make sure you do your due diligence, research the job, read all about it, read the job description, make sure you know about the work culture if you can find that information out. It's a quick Google search, and also just, apply for jobs that you feel like that you would actually want. Don't just go clicking on Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and so on and so forth, just applying for jobs just because they're in the field that you want. Read the job carefully and pick the job that you feel like you want. Number 2, memorize important facts about the job. So interviewers are going to ask you what you know about the company. They're going to ask you what you know about the job role. You want to make sure that you research everything you can about those particular questions. You want to know, especially for the company, where the company was started. You want to know exactly who the founder was, what year it was started and founded. If it's a global company, you want to know how many countries that the company is based in, and you want to know exactly where the company is based in the United States, if it is based in the United States. The last thing that I can tell you is that you also want to know what the company specializes in. That goes kind of hand in hand with step number 1, because if you are unaware about what they specialize in, then how will you know that you actually think that you want the job or will enjoy the job? So just make sure that you do your due diligence and research. Number 3, depending on the job role or title, make sure to review any related topics from school and practice answering those questions. I can assure you that interviewers are going to ask you about some of the things that you learned in school and how it relates to the job role that you applied. So, like I stated before in previous steps, make sure that you're applying for a job that you actually like and want, and also review topics, whether it be in aerodynamics, mechanical design, turbo machinery, so on and so forth. You want to make sure that you are prepared for any type of question that they ask you. Some jobs might test your knowledge on a piece of paper, on a computer. They might even put you in front of a software to test your knowledge. And sometimes they'll just ask you general questions on some of the related topics and how it relates to or translates to the job role. So make sure it's a job that you want, and make sure to review those topics. Number 4, make sure to review behavioral questions as well. You can easily go online and search for types of behavioral questions. I'll make sure that I drop a link in the description below for some of the questions that I found that helped me. But some of the typical questions might be how you are working in a team environment, how you are working in a diverse environment, and what are some things that you did to overcome a problem? What was the solution that you came up with? Of course, as an engineer, you're going to be asked to solve complex problems, and that's exactly what they're going to ask you. What is a solution that you came up with to solve a complex problem? Those are four top questions. Rarely am I asked what my strengths or weaknesses are, but just in case, make sure to review that as well. And just be prepared. Make sure you check out that link as well. That'll definitely help you. And practice. Number 5, make sure to know exactly what's on your resume. So interviewers will normally ask you to tell them about yourself. And usually when you answer that question, you can give a brief introduction about some of your hobbies and everything like that. But mainly what they're looking for is what's on your resume, because they will have your resume either pulled up on a computer or on a sheet of paper whenever they're sitting in front of you. So you want to be able to tell them the high points and how it relates to the job role. They'll ask you about past experience if you do have some work experience, but they also will ask you about what you've learned in school, especially if you're a recent graduate or currently about to graduate. So you want to make sure that you tell them how that stuff relates to the current job role. Number 6, you want to be completely confident whenever you're in front of the interviewers. Doesn't matter if it's one person or a group of people. You want to make sure that you give eye contact for each and every one of them, and also dress nice. Make sure that you have a haircut, a tie, or a nice shirt, or a combination of both. I like to normally dress up in a blazer or a suit. That's just my personal style. It doesn't matter what your personal style is. Make sure that you're confident, you dress nice, and that you give eye contact. Answer questions confidently. Don't stagger when you answer those questions, because they can sense that. And it's okay to be nervous, but don't show it. Just make sure that you practice, because the more you practice, either be in the mirror or in front of people that you're comfortable practicing around, the more you practice, the more confident that you'll be whenever you're going into an interview. Last but certainly not least, you want to research that salary question. I know it's an extremely difficult question to answer. However, you do have to prepare for it. I'm going to give you 2 ways of answering that question. One is a generalized way, and another one does involve giving a salary range. You can anticipate getting that question either during an interview or whenever an official offer, especially if you've aced the interview using these steps. If an official offer has gone out, an HR representative will definitely ask that question. So you want to be prepared. For the generalized way, you want to make sure that whenever you're answering this question, that you put it back on the person that's asking the question. What do I mean by that? Well, if a person asks you, whether it be an HR or an interviewer, if they're asking you that question, you can easily just say or deflect by saying, well, I would like to know more about the job role, the job budget, and because of this company being a big company, I anticipate that it would offer a competitive salary. So I would be open to hearing what the company has to offer. You can easily say something like that. I have definitely used that, and it's never failed me. So you can trust and be assured that that will never fail you as well, especially if you practice it. For the second question, you want to make sure that you don't lowball yourself, but you also don't want to give too high of a number as to scare the company away. So if they give you a salary, or if they're asking you for a salary range, make sure you do your research if you can find the salary range online. A lot of times LinkedIn will post a salary range for a job. You can easily look on there. Sometimes you can check Glassdoor. They're not always accurate, but it can kind of give you an idea of what the job market is looking like for that particular role. So whenever they ask you for what your salary range is, look at the salary range, shoot for, a particular number. Don't ever go for the lowest number, of course, but you want to be right in between that middle and that high range. And then whatever you're thinking that number is, put a little bit more on that number as well to get as close to the highest range as possible. They're never going to give you the highest range. However, you never want to lowball yourself. So I think it's safe to say, just as long as you stay between that range, if you can find it. If you can't find it, of course, use the general way of answering that I gave you. But if you can find that range, then aim between that range. And you can even say that, well, I checked on LinkedIn and I saw that the range for this job was such and such to this number. Then, you know, that gives them, that lets them know that you did your research. And also, you know, you can easily just give them a ballpark number between that range as well. So just make sure that, you know, whenever you answer the salary question, if you decide to go with either option, neither is wrong. Just make sure that you're confident and you have done your research beforehand. All right, so that was my 7 tips for acing your interview and preparing for an interview as far as an engineer is concerned. Even if you're not an engineer, these tips can be used for other different types of roles and positions. But as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share the channel, comment if you want to see any other topics discussed, or if you have any questions. And as always, see you guys next time.